have the courage to be you. We spend so much time of our lives trying to fit in, to sound right, look right, lead right. But somewhere in the process, we lose the courage to simply be ourselves. When was the last time you made a decision that truly reflected you? Not your title, not your job, not your expectations, not what others might say, just you. Here's the truth. Leaders who have the courage to be authentic don't just inspire others, they liberate them. Because courage is contagious and authenticity is magnetic. Welcome to Unbox the podcast. This is episode 49, and I'm your host, Sahar Palmer. We're unwrapping a mindset that separates good leaders from great ones. The ability to show up unapologetically as yourself. We'll explore why vulnerability isn't weakness, how awareness unlocks true strength, and what it really means to lead from your core, not from your mask, when leadership is performance. Somewhere along the path to success, we learn how to perform. We learn the right language for the boardroom, the confident stance, the smile that says, I've got this, even when we don't. But performance has a cost. Every time you perform, you move a little bit further from your truth. And eventually, you forget what your real voice even sounds like. I've been there, trying to be the version of myself that people expect. The one who never hesitates, who always knows, who always leads from certainty. But that's not leadership. That's fear, dressed as confidence. Leadership begins when the performance ends. When you allow people to see that you are human too, that you don't have all the answers, that you're still learning just like them. Because when you let yourself be seen, you give others permission to do the same. Self-awareness is where courage begins. It's the space between pretending and becoming. It is when you finally see that the way you've been showing up no longer fits who you are. Awareness isn't always comfortable. It asks you to stop, to notice, to listen. It invites you to pay attention to the small betrayals, the moments when you say yes, but you really mean no. The times you smile when you want to speak. The places where you shrink, even though you know better. Awareness isn't judgment, it's clarity. It's the mirror that says, this is what's real. And once you see it, believe me, you can't unsee it. That's where courage steps in. Not the loud, heroic kind, the quiet kind. The kind that whispers, it's time to come home to yourself. Being authentic doesn't mean sharing everything. It means not hiding the things that matter. It's being willing to say, I don't know, or it hurts, or even I need help. Those words aren't weakness. They are connection. People don't follow you because you're perfect or your job title is their leader. They follow you because you're real. I once met a leader who thought vulnerability would make him look small. So he built a wall, professional, capable, always composed, but his team couldn't feel him. They admired his skills, but they didn't trust him. When he finally began sharing the moments he failed, other moments when he didn't know the answer, the times that he doubted himself, something changed. People leaned in, they opened up. The room felt human again. Authenticity doesn't create chaos. It creates safety. It creates trust without demanding it. When you show people that imperfection is allowed, They breathe easier, they perform better, and they start leading themselves. What about the weight we carry? Many of us were taught that leadership is about control, even parents, controlling the outcome, control the narrative, control yourself. But control is heavy. It keeps you rigid when life asks you to be fluid. It makes you cautious when what's needed is presence. True courage isn't control, it's surrender, embracing the moment. It's trusting that who you are is enough to meet the moment. You don't need to prove your value, you just need to embody it. Every time you choose to show up as yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, you strengthen your foundation. And that's what awareness gives you: stability that doesn't depend on performance. So let's redefine strength. We grew up believing that strength means not breaking. But maybe real strength is staying open while you do. Strength is showing up even when your voice shakes. It's saying, "This is what I believe," even when no one claps. It's choosing integrity over image, presence over perfection, truth over comfort. Strength isn't how loudly you speak, it's how deeply you stand. When you lead from that place, from calm conviction instead of noise, you change the atmosphere around you. People stop reacting, they start listening and reflecting, and that's how transformation begins. So let's bring you back to yourself. There's a point in every journey where you circle back to the person you were before you learned to wear the mask, before you learned who you were supposed to be. And that's where you find your voice again, unpolished, unscripted, authentically yours. You will notice that life feels lighter when you stop performing. Conversations become easier. Decisions make more sense. Your body even breathes differently because authenticity isn't effort, it's about alignment. And alignment is freedom. It's not about becoming somebody new, it's about remembering who you are beneath all that noise. This is what I call quiet leadership. Quiet leadership is powerful because it doesn't demand attention, it earns it. It's the leader who listens more than they speak, who makes space instead of taking it, who shows that humility and confidence can coexist together. When you lead quietly, you're not trying to impress, you're trying to genuinely connect. And connection outlasts performance every time. So here's what courage looks like as a daily practice. I've learned a few truths. Number one, stop auditioning for approval. Every time you shapeshift to fit expectations, you trade a piece of your authenticity for validation. Leadership rooted in approval is fragile. Leadership rooted in authenticity is unshakable. Number two, reframe failure as feedback. Being yourself doesn't mean you will always get it right, but each misstep is data, not defeat. When you see failure as setback, you start growing faster than your fear. Number three, build awareness through reflection. Take 10 minutes at the end of each day to ask yourself, what moment felt most like me today? What moment didn't? That's your compass. Number four, lead with empathy. Authentic leadership isn't self centered, it's self aware. When you understand your own story, you create space for others to share theirs. That's how trust is built, not through authority, but through empathy. And number 5, protect your values, not your image. You will face moments when authenticity costs you comfort, maybe even opportunities. But when you protect your image at the expense of your values, you lose credibility quietly, one compromise at a time. And finally, number 6, celebrate progress, not perfection. You're not supposed to be flawless, you're supposed to be real. You can't lead others to authenticity if you're disconnected from your own. So show them what growth looks like, not as a finished product, but as a work in progress. And remember, courage doesn't erase fear, it walks with it and still chooses truth. Before we close, I just want to say this. You were never meant to be a copy of anyone else. Your story, your scars, your quirks, they're not liabilities. They are your leadership tools. Every great leader you admire, at some point, had to make peace with who they are. They had to stop pretending, stop comparing, and start living their truth out loud. And that's the invitation for you today, to stop waiting for the right version of yourself to arrive before you take action, to stop hiding behind titles or expectations or even false goals, to stop shrinking your presence to make others comfortable. You have that courage already. It isn't something to find, it is something to remember and to reconnect with. In one conversation, one decision, or one quiet moment, choose authenticity over approval. It might feel uncomfortable. It might even feel risky. But on the other side of the choice is freedom. And freedom, my friends, is where real leadership begins. This is Unbox the podcast, and today we've unboxed courage, the kind that begins quietly and is always with you. And please remember to follow, review, or subscribe. Until next Tuesday, keep unboxing.